So nobody can, fight with Krishna. So Krishna decided to fight. That's this pastime comes into the picture. And it is actually the pastime is because Lila is still going on. It's always in another world. This is going on. This pastime, same thing, and it's very very hard for us to imagine, right? We cannot conceive it. And how is it that is going on? But this pastime of Krishna is going on in one of the world, one of the universe all the time, So it's called eternal. And so here Prahlad Maharaj is teaching his schoolmates. And when the first question was asked by his father, what did you learn in the school? At that time, Prahlad Maharaj, the first time, this is the second time, he's teaching this. So when the first time he was asked, that what did you learn in the school at that time? Prahlad Maharaj says that Tat sadhu manye asuvayati nam sada samudvigna diyam sada samudvigna diyam asatgraha. He says, we are all worried about things all the time. So why? So Prahlad Maharaj tells his father that the reason we have anxiety or we have embraced the anxiety is because we have taken this body, which itself is temporary. He says that. Asat graha. Asat means temporary. We always say that. Asato ma asat kamaya. We say that, right? And tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Right? Our scriptures say that. Asat means the temporary. So go from a temporary to the permanent, eternal. So similarly, Prahlad Maharaj also says that the reason we worry, reason we have embraced the anxiety is because we have this body, we have embraced this body, we have taken this body. That's the whole reason we have anxiety. If we would not have taken this body, we would not have anxieties. No more. So he's telling his father this. He says, "Das sadhu manye is the best of the asurvarya, is best of the demons." He says, that. Then he says further, he tells him that Tat sadhu manye asurvarya dehinam sada samudvigna diyam asagrahat hitva atmapadam. He says hitva atmapadam means that you have decided to do wrong to your good. That's what he says. That hitva atmapadam. Tatsadhumanya Suvaryadehinam Sada Samudvignadiyam Asatgraha Hitva Atmana Adam Gruha Antaku. He said that that's why I'm recommending, or the Shastra is recommending to you that you quit this house, and go into Vanam Gato Yat Harimasre. That you go into the forest where you surrender to Hari Krishna. That's what he's recommending to his father at the first time. So that's when father becomes very furious. That where did you learn this? I'm not teaching you that. I want you to be a political genius, and then you are learning this wrong philosophy. So further, going further, Prahlad Maharaj explained to us that through the schoolmate, it is for us actually. He's teaching his schoolmates, but it is for us. So this we have come up to the text number 16 it's a Canto 7, chapter 6, and text number 16, right? So if we can read that and read the part, what would then be nice. So I bring my own Bhagavatam now because I feel like if the technology fails, maybe we can still use it. I'll read it. So we'll read this. So was another slok he also explained to them, which was very, very nice. Matirna Krishna Partos Matova Mito Vikyat, Kruva Vratana Madanta Govindra Istam Tamisram, Una Charvita Charvanana. Like you, I don't think you guys, all of you came on Tuesday, but we have a very nice association with those devotees who came from Mumbai. They do the seminar or the classes, like they are very, very elevated devotees, and they teach all those devotees, because devotee is also there, but since we always associate with the non-devotees, and Maya also is always captures us, so we fall down, right? A lot of time we fall down. So what happens is we acquire all this material quality. Means that there are a lot of things, like your husband wants to be Krishna conscious, wife want to be a Krishna conscious, husband doesn't want to, husband and wife wants to be, children doesn't want to be. This happens, right? Because we all come with our bhagya, right? We all come with what we have finished last time. So that happens to us, right? So then there is a little bit of a quarrel going on, domestic things going on. So these couple, they every year they take 1 month off and they travel in the world everywhere, and they give seminars, and they give like a 1 or 2 day seminar. So they announce that okay, we are coming, and this is like a domestic violence issues or related to it, how we can fix our life, what we should be doing. So that's what they. So they were here, and at that same time, he also explained to us that the importance of chanting, and what the chanting can do for you, and how this could be done through Srila Prabhupada's, example, and so many other things that their own experience. He's a doctor, and he works. We have one Bhaktivedanta hospital in Mumbai, which is like they usually help the devotees. So a lot of devotees goes there, and he is one of the doctor, internal medicine. So and he has a lot of experience too. He has experience of both this science and spiritual science, right? So he can, tell you from that point of view. So he was here, and I think I came a little late because of the work, but at the end also he was very nice, and he was telling us this sloka too, that we are all come to this world, and then we keep on coming back so many times. And this sloka he quoted, because Srila Prabhupada quotes this sloka all the time, that how we come into this material world so many times. It's like chewing the chew. So what happened is that chewing gum we put in our mouth, right? Although it has lost the taste, everything is gone, but we keep on chewing it. So we've been taking so many different bodies, right? And we are going through same, what? Ahar Nidra Vimaitu, right? Eating, mating, and also sleeping and depending. Those four principles are going through. So although we have chewed it so many times, right? Because we are coming in different species here, and we have chewed it. We are doing through because all the species go through that. Each and every one, life species go through these 4 stages, right? And so we are going through that. And although we are going through that, and it's chewing the chew, like we are chewing the same thing again and again and again. We are not losing that, taste. We still think that more is going to come, more juice will be there, and we keep on chewing. So I think Matirna Krishna Parto Satova Mito Vipadyat Grihapratana Adanta Govira Vistamta Visram Puna Puna Charvika Charvika. That's what here is. Prahlad Maharaj taught us that. So that's what we do. So I think that we have to stop doing that. So now we are going to do it's 19, sorry, 19. Because I wanted to say this that we wanted to further 16th we want Nityesu Nityam Avinit Chesta Advanced Chadosam Parivitaratu. Last week we talked about that how we all have we have 2 different laws, right? One God's law and the government law we have to go through all the time, right? And although we know about it, right, that there is a God's law and there is a government's law, right, we keep on cheating. Right? Prabhupada explained to us that there are 2 kinds of people in this world. One is the cheater and the other one who get cheated. We just keep on changing the position. That's all it is to it. There are only 2 kinds of people in this world. cheater and one who gets cheated. It's just that sometimes we cheat, sometimes they cheat us. That's what is happening. So here also it says that no matter what, we still, although we know after the death also we may get punished for what we do, we keep on continuing the activity. So that's the one we talked about it earlier. And then so in the verse number 16, it all Prabhupada also explained, and it talks that we all are so much educated, we have so much material education, and we gain more and more knowledge from everywhere. Beside that, we never feel that we never have, we always, although we have all this education, we still say that everything is mine and I want everything, and this is, I want to collect more and more, although we have education, this is mine and this is for others, like you, we keep on I mean, you keep on making a differences. Thus, they are always engaged in providing the necessities of life to their family. So, like our children, our family, our wife, we just go, okay, this is mine. Here is yours. I put one CD for you, one CD for my children, one for my sister, like that. Although we are so much educated about all these things, we do that. And then further we go. So those are the only things I think we have learned up to. So now on the 19th, it's a very, very nice purport and very, very nice teachings by Prahlad Maharaj, who's called the 19th, right? So here we go. So if you can follow me here, reading these only 2 lines, very small, it says, Na hi achitam prinayato bahva ayaso asuratmajaha atmatvar sarvabhutanam siddhve iha sarvatah nahi achyutam prinayato bahva ayaso asuratmajaha atmavar sarvabhutanam siddhvatat iha sarvatah. It's a tough one. So we'll go to the word by word translation by Srila Prabhupada. So it says, Na means not. He, indeed, Achyutam, the infallible Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prinayataha, satisfying. Bahu, much. Ayasaha, endeavor. Asuratmajaha, O son of demons. Atmatavat, because of being intimely related as the super soul. Sarva Bhutana, of all living entities. Siddhatavat, because of being established. Iha, in this world. Sarvata, in all directions, in all times and from all angles of reason. There you go. So translation by Srila Prabhupada. It's so Prahlad Maharaj says, my dear sons of demons, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana, is the original Super Soul, the Father of all living entities. Consequently, there are no impediments to pleasing Him or worshipping Him under any condition, whether one can be a child or an old man. The relationship between the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always a fact, and therefore there is no difficulty in pleasing the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. One may ask, one is certainly very attached to family life, but if one gives up family life to be attached to the service of the Lord, one must undergo the same endeavor in trouble. Therefore, what is the benefit of taking the trouble to engage in the service of the Lord? This is not a valid objection. So the Lord asserts in Bhagavad Gita 14.4, Sarva yonisu konteya murtayah sambhavantiyaha tasam brahma mahadyonim aham bija prada. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. The Supreme Lord Narayan is the seed-giving father of all living entities because the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. As there is no difficulty in establishing the intimate relationship between father and son, there is no difficulty in re-establishing the natural, intimate relationship between Narayan and the living entities. Swalpa asya dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya. If one performs even very slight devotional service, Narayan is always ready to save one from the greatest danger. The definite example is Ajamil. Ajamil separated himself from the Supreme Personality of Godhead by performing many sinful activities and was condemned by Yamaraj to be very severely punished. But because at the time of death, he changed the name of Narayan, who was calling not for the Supreme Lord Narayan, but for his son named Narayan. He was saved from the hands of Yamaraj. Therefore, pleasing Narayan does not require as much endeavor as pleasing one's family, community, and nation. We have seen important political leaders killed for a slightly discrepancy in their behavior. Therefore, pleasing one's society, family, community, and nation is extremely difficult. Pleasing Narayan, however, is not at all difficult. It is very easy. One's duty is to revive one's relationship with Narayan. A slight endeavor in the direction will make the attempt successful, whereas one will never be successful in pleasing his so-called family, society, and nation, even if one endeavors to sacrifice his life. The simple endeavor involved in the devotional service of Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord can make one successful in pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore bestowed his blessing by saying, Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtana. All glories to Sri Krishna Sankirtana. If one wants to derive the actual benefit from this human form, he must take to chanting of holy name of the Lord. Om Adhyantimirantasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chaksuranamilitena Chaksuranamilitena Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah Sri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupanga Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagapate Gopeswar Gopika Kanta Radha Sapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabham Devi Pranam Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhudev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama. No, it's Krishna. So I think that Prabhupada explained in this verse that how important it is to please the Narayan. That's important. And normally we can see in our material life also that we always try to please others, right? Because that gives you a satisfaction, isn't it? Like you feel like that, okay, if I, and then we are always looking for some incentive also. In our life, we are always looking for incentive. So in a material life, when we think that if we please somebody, you know, then there is a benefit, there is an advantage, there are some incentives, that's why we please our family, our wife, our children, And then we also think that by doing that, we will also be happy with things that, you know. But as Prabhupada explains in this chapter, in here in the purport, that no matter how we can try, how much we try, to please our family, please our community, please our nation, and the practical examples are in front of us, right? We can see, like a lot of political people, they try to please us, but we are always dissatisfied, right? We maybe find some faults and say, okay, but he's not doing this, and it may not be benefiting me, So this is how we look at it. And so, but here Prabhupada says that because we are a part and parcel of Krishna, we are a part, and Krishna himself vouch in Bhagavad Gita, right, chapter 15. Mame vamso jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatana, manasastani indriyani, prakruti sthani kasati. So we are struggling very hard with these senses, manasastani, six senses, We are struggling very, very hard, in this material world. But we are a part and parcel of Krishna, So it's saying that here, the relationship which is broken, and we have come here and we are thinking that by serving or by pleasing my family members, my children, my community, my nation, this world, I'll be happy, which is not happening for us, And that's why we don't feel happiness inside, We have seen this, or we keep on telling this to others. I don't feel very happy inside, Not to talk about us, talk about Mercy Nara, you know. No, sorry, I take it back. Vyasdev, who actually wrote Srimad Bhagavatam, he was not satisfied. When he was writing Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto and the second canto, it will come when you read it. That he was writing this, he wrote everything. He wrote Puranas, he wrote all these Upanishads, he wrote Vedanta Sutra, everything. But he was not satisfied, And then his Guru Maharaj, Maharishi Narad comes and he asks that I have written all these scriptures, but I'm still not satisfied inside. What is the reason? At that point, Maharishi Narad, he tells him that the reason you are not satisfied, but you have not glorified Krishna enough. That's why you're not satisfied inside, And that's where this Srimad Bhagavatam was born. After that, he writes that. And finally, so this is what it is, So this is what we are ready is so much, satisfactory, so much pleasing. It's a nectar, And so, because we are not doing any service to Krishna, so Prabhupada explained that it doesn't really matter because we have broken our relationship with Krishna, just like here he gives the example of Ajamil, right? That Ajamil was a Brahmin, very, very pure. And, look, what happened is that just one prostitute he saw and his whole life was just, gone, right? That's why Prabhupada says here that it was hidden, all this activity, and that relationship was broken by these sinful activities of Ajamil. But look at it, that what little endeavor it is. Just one little endeavor he did was he actually didn't keep, right? we learned previously that one of the saintly persons came, and by mistakenly somebody asked him, those saintly person, when they come into your town, they ask, who is the person who is very, very saintly, we can stay at their house. They ask a lot of the time. Because the saintly persons, when they come, even in this temple or even anywhere they want to come to your house, at that time, they don't come for their own benefit. They come for your benefit, actually. So there is an example quoted in Bhagavatam 2, and it says that Sukadeva Goswami would not go, he will only go in the evening to everybody's house, to purify other people, and he'll just take a little milk, he'll ask for it. Because by association he can purify, that much, because he's very, very pure, Sukadeva Goswami, right? So that's what it is. So all these saintly persons come to purify you. And that's why whenever they won't go to in any town, they'll ask, hey, anybody? So those people, in India, I don't know here, but in India, we have one little bit of area, we call it, where everybody gather and they do a Gramya Katha. Like they talk about everybody else, what's happening, right? So there are some people who never work. They just get together over there and they talk about others, And so when they do that, so this saintly person met when they came to the Ajamil's town, and so they wanted to make a joke or make fun of them, these saintly people. So they said, oh yeah, you go to Ajamil's house. He's the most saintly, because they knew he was a very, very wretched person, and so they wanted to make fun of him. That's when they went, over there, and then. So by mistake, or not by mistake, but because they went there, they wanted to give the name to his son, and that's where they gave his name as son Narayan. Okay, but look at this, what happened. By just little chanting Narayan at the end, Prabhupada explains here, that it's worth just a little effort, a little, and he really didn't wanted to do it for Narayan, he just wanted to say that to his son, and he was scared. That's why he said his son's name. Because when we are scared, we try to call our family member. They think that they will be protecting us. But Bhagavatam says that they won't protect you. He says there is a sloka I forgot, that we always think that they are our soldiers and they'll protect us, but they don't. So he says his name, and here the Yamaraj, the death god of death, and he comes, and his agents come to get him. And immediately Narayan chanted just a little endeavor, and then the angels came, Vishnu, Dut came, and took over and said, hey, wait a minute, you cannot do that, And they had a big dialogues, and after that, they would not let him take it. So he saved his life. Similarly, Prabhupada also explained to us here that in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also says, Swalpapi dharmasya trayate mahatobhaya. The greatest danger could be, you could be saved from the greatest danger of going into the cycle of birth and death by little endeavor. Trayate mahatobhaya. Swalpa, just by your little, alpa means very little effort or endeavor, you can be saved. So Prabhupada also gave us a very good example of Ajamil, that how he was saved. So we also will continue doing this spiritual activity, and in that, this spiritual activity help us to reconnect us, because we have broken our relationship. We need to re-establish our relationship with Krishna, and that's why we are here, and that's why we have to put little efforts into it. He said that everything else in the material world are given to us is by our previous activities. Karmena dev netrana chatur dev prapadyate. It says Karmena dev netrana. By the higher authority, in the direction of a higher authority, and our previous activity, we get births according to. Either you are going to go into slum area, or either you are going to be the richest boy of one of these top guys. That's why aristocratic family is called. And when we even lose this, sometimes we think, like Prabhupada also quote here and said that it's a very good question, for us, that why should I leave the family and engage into the service of Krishna? Why? That's very common question for all of us, right? So the answer is that by these little efforts, we can reconnect with Krishna and we can rekindle our relationship with Him, and then we can we can by by re-establishing the relationship, we can save ourselves from the greatest danger, and we can go back to Godhead, to Krishna Lok. And then once we get there, Krishna says, "Janma karma cham evam povritti tattvata tattvadeha punarjanma naiti mamiti swacham." Once you go there, you have to come back. So, so that's what the goal is. So that's what we are learning here. That's what Prahlad Maharaj is teaching us here. And I think it's our goal that I'm saying that you all come here every weekend and listening this the first time. And it is very, very nice for all of us that we are accumulating gradually, a little punya, spiritual actually, So there is a difference between punya and this activity, what is Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. As Prabhupada explains here, that this activity of Sravanam Kirtanam is completely different. It's a devotional service. Those people who are here, those people who are hearing these, those people who are hearing Bhagavad Gita, they can only understand the importance of these, that this is a bhakti. This is not a karmic activity. This is not action-reaction things here. Once you do that, whatever your time you spend and whatever the time you lend your ear to hear this, this is completely bhakti. And it's called akarma, But akarma also has a benefit, right? But here we are giving it to Krishna. So anything, Knartha karmananyatra, loko ayam karma bandhanaha, So by doing these, we do not get the binding. There is no bondage. And that means that more and more and more we get it, and more we have a chances to liberate ourselves from here. And no more there, no more birth, no more disease, and no more old age. And that's our goal, right? Hare Krishna. Any question or comment? I think. So tomorrow also we have a Bhagavad Gita class here. We take one of the Bhagavad Gita course. So we want to know Bhagavad Gita and these two, very well, because we are the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that this Bhagavad Gita is the highest scriptures in our in Vedanta philosophy. So we need to learn, and the more you hear, you learn. Because when you come here, some people will ask you questions. Sometimes they say, "Hey, what do you do there? Hey, what is this? So if you think, Krishna is like this, so what is this?" So you learn this here, and then you answer the same way. Prabhupada says you learn, and then you answer, right? Whatever you learn, and as much as you learn. So this knowledge we get, actually we are being told, and it's a completely practical thing that we don't need to do anything, just chant Hare Krishna, that's all we need to do. But at the same time, if you have this knowledge, Vedanta knowledge, a little bit here and there, what Prahlad Maharaj teaches us, or what Krishna tells us, right? Then we can defend Mayavadi philosophy, those people who are telling us that this is not the right thing, because our goal is, of course, you come here all the time, right? But your goal is, what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 8. Nacha tasmat manusyesu kaschit me priyakuttama. He said there is no other human being more lovable to me than that who tells about me to others. So now you just not want to learn, but you want to, capture other and tell about Krishna, So that's our goal, because you learn, you learn. And that's also devotional servicing, because it's called kirtan, You are telling others that, okay, you should come to temple, you should learn about Krishna. Do you know who is Krishna is? And they said, no, then there is an opportunity like this. This is it, Whenever you're going, like today I was in my pharmacy, and I put Bhagavad Gita in Spanish and English, right? So English I ran out, but I keep a couple of copies in my office. So one guy looked at it and he says, "Oh, I like this Bhagavad Gita, but what language it is in? So my technician says it's in Spanish. So he said, do you have one in English? So she said, she asked me, he said, do we have one in English? I said, let me check in the back. I think I have one copy. So I took out and I gave it to him. So he said, how much? So I said, maybe you can pay us $5. So that little Bhagavad Gita, he looked at a couple of pages and I gave it to him for $5. I had a whole case. So people come, they look at we are looking for an opportunity to make somebody a Krishna conscious. Why? Because Krishna says that Rajat because chit may be. There is no other human being more lovable to me, or dear to me, he said. So I think that we also need to do that because you are here, you learn this thing. So that every opportunity you have, you need to spread the Krishna consciousness as Srila Prabhupada teaches us, right? That's our goal. Hare Krishna. So we'll have prasadam. I think we'll just take prasadam over there. I think, today. Yeah. So, and tomorrow we'll meet again, same time. Hare Krishna. And then I'll let you guys know if we keep the kirtan on Monday evening, then you guys can all join. Hare Krishna.